I think the major benefit is that we offer a lot of tools for different parts of the process all on one box. As I mentioned, we can come into play before editorial, after editorial, and we really provide a box that's just very versatile. So we don't just conform, we don't just extract DPX from an R3D file, we don't just color correct. We do all of those things plus a lot more. So in your final project, once it's color corrected, all done, ready to go, you can have different output formats set up. You can handle pan and scans for different aspect ratios. You can do different kinds of media encoding. You can do different frame rate versions all off of one system, and I think that's the real advantage. The other place where we have a big advantage is because of that history of developing real-time signal processing equipment. We have a lot of image processing tools available on the system as well. So we can do things like noise reduction, and not specific to red, but we can do, well, steady is probably one that might come into play. And then we can do a lot of like sort of film-based restoration things, dust and scratch removal, that sort of stuff for people that are working on mixed projects.
Found everything. Now we just hit this little conform button and we see a conform. So this is a red conform, just the way I wanted it, but I'm not 100% sure that's the way I wanted it yet because I need to check it against an offline. So the way we do that is pretty easy. Let's go and make another. You can make infinite video tracks. Let's just make a track 5 and go and import a media file that was made from the edit room. Let's go and get that one. It's an MXF file, so this is an Avid format file. We can just drop in our timeline natively and play. We don't need to convert it or anything. So we just drop that down there, and it's got some temp color decisions on it that they were playing around with the Avid. But I'm going to put my split screen on and tell it where I want to get the reference from, which will be the other track. There we go. So I can do a split screen to check the conform. I can do a dual screen like that. So basically we're seeing MXF format on the left and native red format on the right, and just playing together. We can check my conform. Oh, that's a bit out. That's definitely wrong. The DOP had some interesting ideas about shooting sideways on this, so you'll notice that. But anyway, that's how you check the conform. Okay. Now you can see here that it was intended that certain things got doubled up or different layers were used. Now I've touched on this before. Let's make it. I'm actually going to show you how that works a bit later. Before I move out from this, I want to show you one of the features, which is we're basically looking at files that are native red files that are quarter resolution. We want to work with something higher. So we can batch extract media. So I'm going to go to my library, or bin as you want to call it, select everything, go to the properties, and here's the good stuff. This is all the metadata recorded by the camera. These are all the options that you can change. So unlike, DPX files, you can actually re-extract from the absolute red files in a different way on certain shots if you want to. This is the main one. I want to change that to half medium or half premium. So depending on how they've shot it, that will probably be 2K. Okay. And then, everything comes. Oh, got a nipple there. Everything comes up at 2K, and you're good. So the system, as you may see here on the left on my GUI, it understands the red files natively. If I jump over here, this is the file. If I go back here, you see this red sort of ticker bar here, ticking away? That is it background rendering. And that's a real time saver. So while I'm starting to grade her and maybe decide that she needs to be a bit more contrasty with not quite so much warmth there, so I've done a quick grade there, it's working on my behalf to render in front of me. So while I work, if you choose to, it can render to DPX to make things faster while you work. And that's a nice feature of our system, this sort of cooperative background renderer. Okay, so that's doing its thing. That's pretty much what I wanted to show with the conform side. You can edit all of the metadata, you can see it all, we can drag and drop, we can reconform, we can batch change things. Now I just want to quickly show why you would want to conform those multiple tracks the way we did. So a good example of that is this one. Same project, but I've spent a little bit more time on it and done a little bit of work here. Okay, there's some grading. We've used some tools. That's fairly extreme. We've changed the colours quite a lot. It's quite a bit burnt out. I might recover some of those whites a little bit quickly here. It's a bit better. But anyway, let's go and see this. Now, look on my GUI here. 1, 2, 3 layers, or video tracks. They correspond to these. Now, I've gone crazy and put Sapphire plugins on them, but basically, if you turn them off, you can see I've got some pure white, first layer, comped on, second layer composited on, and I've put some crazy, let's have a look, some crazy two-tone Sapphire plugin effect on him, and the last one. Now the good thing is the reason for doing this in a color correction system is, like, if I want to grade, he looks to me a little bit warm there. I want to cool him down a bit. There we go. Or I want to change the whites, but I don't want to affect the whites in the background. You know, I want to be able to grade these things completely separately, and that's the advantage of being able to have these separate layers. A lot of other systems, you might mix down the result for final color, and then it would be much harder to go and tweak each parameter like that when they're all on top of each other. So that's one of the key advantages I wanted to really show on this system. Okay, so to finish off, I think time is rolling on. I have to do a changeover, but just before we end, I want to show a little bit more of the grading capabilities, just by showing a quick snippet from a commercial that was done in Ringside Creative in Detroit. And this gives you a quick idea about what you can do if you have the time and you have a commercial or something where you want to affect lots of different aspects of the picture. So it's a little bit oversaturated. I don't think the LUTs are quite tuned in with this projector, but for example, it started off here, and we've done that. And this is an extreme example. We started off kind of like here, and we've done that. We just, sorry?
What kind of footage is it?
This was shot on 35 log scans. So we're wrapping up here. Just going to show you this sky layer. This sky was it was clipping a bit with the grading. So we did a bit of rotoscoping, a bit of tracking, and a bit of keying, and this was all done here in this one system. And when we did all that, that enabled us to pull back the sky. So it used to be like that, and then you pull back just in that selective region that we selected, this white area. So once you've done that, you really can still, affect just, the region that is selected. And this goes on forever. I mean, you can change the image quite a lot. You can decide to go in and just do a layer which maybe just affects that little shape in there. They were worried that it was getting a bit green, so we made it match. You're able to pull apart and grade any selective area of the picture in any which way you want, with infinite layers and tracking and everything. So it's a very powerful color correction system as well. So I hope I've given you a bit of an overview of the system. And if you have any more questions, just beyond that screen in the next room, there are digital vision people who can answer any more questions. And I think I'm going to go and see the next group. So thank you very much for your time.